This is the start of what could be a really interesting week for the Chicago Cubs. Bob Nightengale of the USA Today saying that he expects the Cubs over the next 5 weeks to be the busiest team in the major leagues. That includes signing Cody Bellinger, maybe a corner infielder. Also, what's going to happen with Shota Imanaga? Conflicting reports. Some say the Cubs are still in it. Over in Japan, some are saying that they're not. We're going to get into both of those. Thanks for being here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Here's your invitation. Let's get this party cranked up. Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick on the socials, and it is great to have you guys here today. All right, let's get into it, the nitty-gritty. The Cubs have spent this much money, a big goose egg, $0 in the free agent market so far this offseason. How much longer is that going to last? Well, first off, it was refreshing, exciting to see a guy that has covered baseball, one of the big-time writers in the game, Bob Nightengale of the USA Today, say that he expects the Cubs to be very active, maybe the most active team in Major League Baseball the next 5 weeks. He wrote in his piece that Cody Bellinger and the Cubs, there's not a lot of interest for Cody Bellinger like the Cubs. I kind of feel like that. And maybe that's why the Cubs have let this thing play out the way that they have, because it doesn't feel like the market has really been kind as far as suitors other than the Cubs for Bellinger. We've seen the Blue Jays come and go, the Giants come and go, the Yankees come and go. And, right now the Cubs are still there. They haven't spent any money. They're obviously dealing with his agent, Scott Boras, who represents all the good players that are available right now, it feels like. And so Cody Bellinger to the Cubs seemingly feels like it eventually is going to happen. Okay, that's one. He also said, don't be surprised if the Cubs don't sign a Rhys Hoskins or a Matt Chapman. So that's interesting. I mean, we talked about those guys at the beginning of the process. Hoskins, I would think, would be a short-term signing, a guy to play first base. You don't really have someone that you feel comfortable with sticking into that spot right now and leaving them alone, right? Maybe if you sign Bellinger, you put him over at first base, and then all of a sudden maybe you sign Chapman to play third, right? What kind of deal would you have to give Chapman? Great defender, and the Cubs infield would be fantastic. I mean, when you throw him over there, a guy that's won Gold Gloves, and then you have Dansby Swanson, who won 2 Gold Gloves, one with the Braves, one with the Cubs, and Nico Horner won his first Gold Glove. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know what? Bellinger did really well at first base. The Cubs still would need to get somebody else to be able to play there. I'm sure Belly will DH and be in the outfield too if the Cubs sign him. But he said that he expects that. And then, if you get Bellinger and you get one of those guys, you got a pretty good roster then, right? There's also the possibility that the Cubs could make some trades, although it really feels like the Braves could be in the mix for Dylan Cease, although now that they went and made the Chris Sale deal, maybe that's cooled off. Baltimore, a lot of talk. Bruce Levine on his show Saturday had Brandon Hyde, the former Cubs coach and farm director, great guy, who's now the Baltimore Orioles manager, and he was the skipper of the year on, and he seemed to think that Baltimore, with a lot of big prospects, a lot like the Cubs, were going to make that deal for Dylan Cease, and they needed an ace at the top of their rotation last year. I mean, they ran into a buzzsaw when they got swept by Texas, but look, Texas went on to take the World Series, so obviously they're playing some pretty good baseball, but there's a possibility too. I don't count the Cubs out on that either, but it's going to take some players to get that deal done. And then, of course, we've talked about the possibility of the Cubs and the Guardians making a deal for Shane Bieber, maybe some other guys. I don't know. I wonder what the Cubs' taste is for trading away some of these prospects that they have. I felt like part of the reason that you go get Craig Counsell was to work these guys in and get the most out of them. And I feel like that was something that the Cubs could have done better a year ago. So, you're going to trade these guys away. I don't know. I mean, I maybe some of them, who knows? But that's where we are right now. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the Japanese left-hander, Shota Imanaga. We've mentioned this guy a lot, and this isn't going to last very long because it's Monday, and by Wednesday, it's got to be pretty much in the bag, right? He's got until the 11th to get this accomplished, or he's got to go back to Japan. The posting lasts 45 days, and we're at the end of the window. And of course, just like you used to do in your college or high school classes, you wait until the last minute to get it done, right? And no matter how many times they said, don't wait to the last minute, we always wait to the last minute, right? So that's what's going on right now. So where are people feeling like Shota Imanaga is going to go? All right. From what I understand, the reports out of Japan are that the Cubs are out. The asking price was too high, and that they have kind of put their hands up and that they've walked away. And it's down to the Giants and the Angels. That's reports out of Japan. Now, reports in our country as of yesterday say that the Cubs are still in the mix for Imanaga, along with the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Angels. Now, the Red Sox are trying to cut payroll. So I would kind of figure that they're not going to want to pay $75 to $100 million for this 30-year-old starter who's never pitched in the big leagues, right? I could see the Cubs still, they need a starter depending on what their scouting department tells them. And I know that they have been over to Japan. They've seen him pitch. They're comfortable with what they think he is and what he'll do in Major League Baseball. So with that said, it really looks like the Giants are going to end up getting him, or the Angels. And the Angels are going to have to overpay because unless you want to go somewhere and be on a loser, you're just not going to want to go to the Angels right now. And I'm sure it doesn't look good that you couldn't win with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. But the organization that the Angels have is not good. They made the trade with the White Sox at the deadline. They traded Kai Bush and one of their catching prospects, a 20-year-old switch-hitting catcher who I think is going to play in the big leagues. And they got Lucas Giolito, and they released him before the end of the season. Like, they just gave up their number 2 and 3 prospects. It just really doesn't seem like there's much of a game plan over there. So it'd be a money grab to me. Now, the Giants, on the other hand, they made a run a couple of years ago. They surprised everyone. They're a baseball town. They're desperate to try to keep up with their arch rival, the Dodgers, who have gone out and they got Yamamoto and they went out and got Ohtani. And if you get Imanaga, he's a left-hander. He knows these guys. It gives you at least something to counter the moves that the Dodgers have made. So if I'm handicapping this right now, my thoughts are I'm giving the Giants the odds to get him. I'm saying that the Angels are probably second, the Cubs are probably third, and the Red Sox, to me, are fourth. But a lot can change between now and Wednesday. But just call it the Japanese media. They know their guys. On top of the fact that I feel like the Cubs are going to be active. And to me, I would be more comfortable putting that kind of money out and getting a Jordan Montgomery or even spending more and getting Blake Snell than spending that. And then what if it's 5 years of a guy that's unable to pitch in the big leagues every 5 or 6 days, however you have your rotation set out. So we'll find out. Then anyway, that's where we are right now. If anything breaks, I'm going to jump on here and we'll talk to you guys live. And it would not shock me if they signed Imanaga. But I'm waiting for that first domino to fall. And then all of a sudden, I think a lot more will continue to fall. And then Cubs convention's coming up on Friday. It was great. Heard from Jody Davis, the catcher on the 84 team. A lot of those guys are coming back. They're part of the convention. Not going to be there this year, but I'm planning on doing it next year, getting back in the rotation again. But I love seeing you guys at the convention. I've always loved hosting the panels. And I think that it's something that I'm kind of ready to get back and do again because I miss you guys and talking Cubs baseball. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. Again, like and subscribe. We appreciate you being here. And don't forget that right now the channel is presented by the Tennessee Smokies and their team store, smokiesbaseball.com/store. I know a lot of you guys love autographs. They've got autographs of some of the great young players. You can get at the Collector's Corner or at the store. The Collector's Corner is their card store that's part of the store itself. But autographed jerseys, bats, balls, obviously Cubs gear, Smokies gear, and all that. Find out for yourself at smokiesbaseball.com/store.